Okay, shall we start? Good afternoon, everyone. What comes to your mind if I ask you about cooking? For some of you, it will be weekends where your family coming downstairs to have some breakfast. For others, it will be cooking for your partner in the evenings to support her or he after busy day. Or maybe you are thinking about some chef whom you just observed recently in one of your favorite restaurants. But I bet that none of you started to think about damaged health, lost time, or intolerable smell that infuses everything around you and stays there long after you finished cooking. Unfortunately, for 3 billion people on our planet, this is the reality. And this is what comes to their mind if they would be asked about cooking. My name is Lobodina Elena, and I'm running company Circle Gas. In the next 15 minutes, I will tell you about how our company is transforming lives of low-income families in Africa by using IoT as a core technology, by bringing LPG as the main source of the fuel for cooking in comparison with charcoal. Transformation that just a few years back was considered completely impossible. So as we have here people probably with number-oriented minds, let me tell you something about the figures. 75% of the population in Africa cook their meals on the daily basis with charcoal or firewoods. When you think about most common causes of preventable deaths in Africa, malaria and HIV first comes to your mind. But think about breathing infection, largely due indoor air pollution from cooking fires causes 1,800 deaths per day, 1,800 deaths per day, affecting mainly women and kids at the age under 5. Besides this, about 1 billion tons of CO2 emitted every year from the burning of the wood or wood-related fuels. But we are here to change. Today, just after 4 years of operations, 2 million people in Kenya and Tanzania eat food which is prepared on the clean cooking solution of Circle Gas. And we have ambition to increase this number to 50 million just in 5 years. So let's deep dive in the environment in which we operate. A typical family that uses charcoal for cooking will earn no more than $4 per day. This money will depend greatly on whatever work adults will find in the morning. 60% of our customers receive daily wages. 60%. Whatever will be earned during the day mostly will be spent on all the basic needs, such as food and other essentials. If there are not enough money that earned during this day, families will take microloans with interest rates as high as 1% daily, which is clearly unsustainable. As there are no infrastructure for fuel distribution available in these regions, as you have, for example, in Europe, electricity or gas, the only affordable and possible cooking fuel that people can afford from low-income families will be charcoal, which they will buy in small quantities, and that will be available on any street or villages in Africa. So, on one hand, we have LPG, which is cost just half of the price for meal cooked versus charcoal. You can cook 4 times faster food with LPG rather than with charcoal, because you don't have lightening process. You don't have to wait for cooling it down. You can cook with the 2-burner stove. You can adjust the heat almost immediately. And needless to say that it is much safer and healthier way to cook. But people don't use it. Why? For a family who earns only $4 per day, it's clearly out of reach. In order for you to start cooking on LPG, you need to your upfront cost will be $75. You will need to buy a cylinder, fill it with LPG, and buy a stove. Moreover, after that, for each additional refill, you would need to prepare $25 saved in advance. We have many examples across Africa where corporations and government programs gave for free cylinders with the LPG in it. But only 10% will ever come back for the second refill. Others will either stay unused after depletion, or they will be sold to illegal refillers, so that to receive some money, family will receive some money to cover their basic needs for a day or two. That's why the most critical factor to help people switch from charcoal to LPG as a cooking source is allow them to buy gas in very small quantities, absolutely the same way as we purchase currently charcoal or firewood. So how we resolve the issue? Obviously with technology. Circle Gas developed a smart meter that, in comparison with the meters that you probably see in Europe, has not only measuring part, but also a communication model. When we install LPG cylinder with this smart meter atop in the houses of a customer, they can top up the smart meter with any amount of mobile money they have, and after that, immediately start cooking. We see that our customers top up sometimes just 4 cents in order to prepare their, for example, tea. And we also see that majority of our customers would top up meters just before we start cooking. So their payment schedule will almost fully match cooking sessions, which again stresses that the key factor for us to change behavior and to support customers in switching from charcoal to LPG is allowing them to pay and purchase gas the same way as we do for charcoal. What is the customer journey in Circle Gas? So let's go one by one. We receive a lot of inquiries for our services through our referrals from our current customers. After that, we do vetting process with customers to ensure that every household is well fit for our services. After installation, customers start to top up the smart meter, as I explained, and start cooking. On average, we have 1 cylinder which will stay in the houses of the customer for about 3 months before it will need to be changed. We monitor through data how gas is depleted, and when gas passes a certain level, usually we are talking about 10 days of cooking, someone from our staff will contact the customer and schedule a cylinder change, which will be done within the next few days. We also operate a call center 24/7 to ensure that any question that customers have regarding services or how to use solution will be answered immediately. In order to serve our customers in many places, we built a very robust last mile infrastructure. For every 10 to 20,000 customers, we operate a depot that will act as an area hub. In this depot, we will have approximately 50 to 60 employees which will be divided into teams. One is maintenance team. It's drivers and technicians who will serve all the operational matters with the customers, and commercial team, responsible for finding new customers or educating and training the new one, how to cook with our solution, how to use it. By hiring staff from the local community, from the local area, we strengthen and building tighter relationship with the local communities. But the most important one is that we give young people from these areas opportunity to have a career where they would be able to see very clear incentive and path for growth. In fact, I am very proud to say that in our organization, we have some employees who started at the initial stage, such as technician or drivers. And right now, some of them are running the depot and others would already promoted to the headquarters. So what is our current stage in terms of the business in numbers for Kenya? So we have about 420,000 customers right now. We operate with 38 depots across all the major cities and regions. We have about 2,000 employees, out of them more than 500 women. And in fact, in our leadership team, we have split 50-50 between men and women. Starting from our first installation process, installation solution, up to now, because of the switch of our customers from charcoal to LPG, we saved about 2 billion tons of the CO2. Looking forward, the plans for the next 5 years is to strengthen our position in Tanzania. Currently, we have slightly above 7,000 customers in Dar es Salaam, and the idea would be to grow the same way as we do in Kenya, and in 2027 to enter 3 new markets, which is Uganda, Rwanda, and Nigeria. Our business is continuously building and enhancing deep customer insight. And that's makes us quite unique in the clean cooking space. It starts with the vetting process, where we gather the initial information and demographical data. So about our customers, we know size of households, how many kids they have, what are their age, how many people work and can work in the family. After customer become active with our solution, through in-house developed software, we constantly generate data and gather data on the cooking habits. So how often people cook, what time of the day, what amount of gas they used, do they travel or stay more stable at the homes, what is their payment profiles, and so on. Such deep understanding of a customer behavior gives us possibility to develop tailored offers both on the service and product offering. So we analyze and use data in the 4 main areas: service, product offering, payment solutions, and transparency of any reporting data we provide on the positive effects that we build for community and for our customers. So let's start with the cooking behavior and services. So we monitor how people, what is their cooking habits, and we look into the different parameters. One of them would be seasonality. We know very well what is the different way people cook during different days of the week. For example, in Kenya, the most active day for cooking will be Sunday. In Tanzania, it will be Saturday. We look at the different weeks of the month. Why it's important? Because that would reflect how much money people earn during the month. And we clearly can see that first and last week of the month, people will cook much more than during the middle of the month. And monthly seasonality gives us a good understanding on all the national-wide, let's say, activities such as Christmas, school holidays, Easter, or rain season, because that would affect if people will start consume more or less. Why it is important? Because we need to organize our field staff to support customer during peak hours, or peak days, or peak areas, peak periods, and that's what we are doing with this data. If we will go forward on the operational stuff, we monitor very closely how our staff supporting customers, how many visits we do, how many customers we serve, how many kilometers we cover in order to support. And this data is extremely important because we develop and enhance constantly task engine that automate as much as possible and optimize the service of the customers to serve the one who needs it the most and the most quickest way. As I mentioned before, there are different types of the payment that our customer will do and the different ways how we do it. In order to provide with customized payment solutions, we're also gathering this data and come with different offers. All of this also help us to do proper reporting, which is actually quite often very difficult to see in the clean cooking space. But we monitor all the data and can tell you precisely what is the economic benefits our customers have, what time savings they have, how many CO2 emissions savings we do, and that's extremely important. One of the 5 UN sustainability goals that Circle Gas is contributing to is climate action. By monitoring data of how many CO2 emissions were saved by using LPG instead of charcoal, we receive carbon credit certified by gold standard. Currently, we sell these credits on the voluntarily market, but by end of 2025, we expect to enter compliance market, where corporations and airlines would be able to buy our carbon credits in order to offset their emissions and achieve quicker their climate goals. In my view, this represents a very powerful opportunity for both our current and future customers in delivering clean cooking solutions in even more communities that they need the most. All of this became possible by us using AWS services and infrastructure. And together with AWS team, we constantly look at the ways to optimize and find better solutions to serve our customers. Jamila, to you.
Thank you, Lynn. Before we dive into the technology, I'd like to take a moment to reiterate on why this work matters. Hearing about a real-world impact on families and communities reminds me of my own childhood. Growing up, access to clean energy wasn't something I've thought about it twice. It was just there. But working with Circle Gas made me realize how it's different for millions of families in sub-Saharan Africa, especially for women and young girls, who, according to International Energy Agency, spend on average 5 hours per day gathering fuel to cook their meals. This is a lost economic opportunity that could have been spent on their education, on their leisure, on something that truly matters to them. So the story that I'm going to share today is more than just a technology. It's about time, it's about opportunity, it's about dignity. I'm Jamila Jamilova, Solutions Architect at AWS, and I've had the privilege to be Circle Gas's dedicated Solutions Architect for the past few years. At AWS, we are incredibly proud to help Circle Gas to bring sustainable, affordable, and clean energy to homes, using technology to scale their impact even further. As you've heard, Circle Gas is a purpose-driven company that's transforming lives. In many communities that they operate, cooking fuels like charcoal or kerosene isn't just polluting, it's dangerous. But clean energy alternatives historically been either too expensive or too difficult to access. As you've heard, Circle Gas flipped that model. They bring pay-as-you-go experience to their LPG gas cylinders with smart meters on it, with mobile payment, but what truly differentiates them is their understanding of the customer's needs. This model may seem simple at the beginning, but it's incredibly complex to run it at scale. And that's where AWS comes in. Working with Circle Gas, we have identified their 3 main IoT challenges. First, their smart meters are battery powered, and these meters are operating in areas with low connectivity. So these meters need to work all the time. These meters need to collect real-time usage data so Circle Gas can analyze and plan their business accordingly. Second, these meters need to be safe and secure because customers will be using for their payments. So the meters need to be securely provisioned on time. And third, as Circle Gas keeps growing, they need a reliable infrastructure that will grow with them. But also, they need additional tools that they can monitor these devices in real time without them needing to send an engineer to every single household and check the meter status. Using AWS's IoT services and wider AWS services, Circle Gas was able to address all of these challenges, especially secure connectivity, remote provisioning, and ability to operate across geographies in a scalable manner. But that's not just it. Because using AWS services, Circle Gas was able to tap into AWS's wealth of talent, subject matter experts who were able to consult Circle Gas on service-specific challenges and how to overcome using our services. I'd like to show you a full picture of how Circle Gas delivers impact with AWS. Every single piece you see on the slide is a critical building block. Smart meter connectors, optimization with machine learning, managing operations at scale. But let's zoom in and see where it all actually starts. It starts with smart meters on how to connect and collect the data. As you've heard, Circle Gas's customers using LPG gas cylinders to cook their meal. Right. Now they got the gas cylinder, they want to cook their meal. First thing first, they start interacting with the meter. This meter starts collecting the usage data. This data has been sent safely and securely over the network to the cloud. AWS ensures that the data actually gets there, especially in areas with low connectivity issues. Using services and features like retries, buffering, offline state management. Once the data gets there, it lands in a central data lake on AWS. This is where the real power begins, because now Circle Gas can take that data, analyze it further, and plan their business. But that's not just it, because using that data, Circle Gas can also build their synthetic data, where they can simulate a real-world impact and build scenarios like how pricing changes might impact the operations and consumptions. Smart meter control is where Circle Gas's model becomes really elegant, because the pay-as-you-go experience is made possible by cloud-connected smart meters. Remember the customer who got the cylinder, they want to cook their meal? Right, let's double-click on it. So once the customer wants to cook their meals, what do they need to do? Any guesses? Any guesses? Right, they need to first top up their balance. That happens using mobile payment. That payment is securely being transferred, and it triggers a feature on the meter that says, yep, balance is fine, everything is great, customer had the right amount of dollars in the account. Now gas can be unlocked that will flow through the pipes to the customer's stoves so they can start cooking the meal. This process seems instant to the customer, just like that. But under the hood, there is a whole process happening. State validation, device connection, real-time top-up balance, other cloud logic. Everything is powered by AWS. This is also where we help Circle Gas to manage scale, because the same system works across hundreds of thousands, millions of households. It's flexible, it's secure, it can be centrally managed. As the usage data flows in, Circle Gas builds a rich understanding of how each household interacts with gas. For example, they can detect if a specific household is running out of gas too quickly, or they can spot a pattern that may suggest that the family is rationing. This allows Circle Gas to provide further support, tailored support for their customers, like proactive refills or educational nudges. And AWS provides services where Circle Gas can store, analyze, and act on that data. Before making any changes into production, Circle Gas runs control tests. Remember the real-time and historic data, synthetic data? Exactly. That's what Circle Gas is using to build their dynamic dashboards, using AWS's cloud-powered business intelligence service called Amazon QuickSight, where they can build a flexible, dynamic, real-time dashboard that will help them to monitor the status of their devices, the status of their business, and how their customers are actually using the gas. Circle Gas is also using our automation tools where they can roll back if there's any need. It's essentially experimentation with guardrails built in. Once the operations are stable, Circle Gas can turn into optimization. They use bespoke, custom-built machine learning algorithms where they can forecast gas demand, they can plan their delivery routes, and reduce waste. This essentially helps them increase their risk, increase the confidence, and decrease the risk. As Circle Gas keeps growing, they are in need to have a managed service where they can manage the machine learning algorithms at scale. And we're currently working with Circle Gas on how AWS's AI and ML services can help them scale, especially in AI and ML space. The final piece is agility. When something is ready, Circle Gas can push into production at a startup speed while delivering their customers' vital daily need. These changes could be new pricing strategy or new dashboarding or firmware update. With AWS services, it can be done in no time. September 2018. Circle Gas, as a first stage, rolls out their product into market. Right from the beginning, they built the whole infrastructure, all their product on AWS to ensure that the foundations like data collection, smart meter control, and secure messaging will scale with them. As the model proves itself, Circle Gas keeps growing, moving into the second stage. They didn't need to redesign the architecture. The same pattern simply scaled with more meters, more customers, and more data. And as a third stage, as Circle Gas keeps growing even further, scaling across multiple countries and geographies, AWS gives them the confidence that their infrastructure will scale with them without hitting any infrastructure ceilings. Now, I'd like to zoom out from individual services, and I'd like to highlight what holds it all together. This matters when you have a physical solution deployed in areas with low connectivity. AWS takes the operational burden from Circle Gas. AWS helps Circle Gas's application to scale automatically while also helping them to meet their sustainability goal even further without them needing to build it all from scratch by themselves. Circle Gas is built on an infrastructure that is secure, scalable, and sustainable to drive a real-world impact. A study conducted by 451 research found that businesses operating in Europe can further reduce their energy usage by nearly 80% when they run their applications on AWS instead of operating their own data centers, which means AWS's infrastructure is 5 times more energy efficient than the average European data center. Customers running on AWS can further scale their sustainability impact beyond their core business model. And as you heard, Circle Gas's core business model is to align with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. If you are not aware, Sustainable Development Goals are part of an ambitious and bold agenda that's designed to tackle the world's most challenging issues, like eradicating poverty to tackling climate change. In 2015, United Nations adopted 17 Sustainable Development Goals that represents a global call to action for more sustainable, prosperous, and equitable future by 2030. And Circle Gas is proudly and officially aligned, certified to meet the following goals: good health and well-being, gender equality, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, climate action. But above all, for Circle Gas, all of these goals translate into cleaner kitchens, safer households, more time for women and young girls, fewer emissions into the atmosphere. And at AWS, we are honored to support customers who not only scaling their technology, but also tackling the world's most pressing challenges with technology. I'd like to highlight that the work we do with Circle Gas is not just one-off. We work with thousands of customers across various industries who deliver innovation and sustainability with purpose. At AWS, we see ourselves as enabler of that vision by providing building blocks, scalability, security to go further, faster, and together. If you're thinking, that's great, I want to build and re-architect my infrastructure in a sustainable manner, I have good news for you. You are not alone. You have AWS dedicated account team, solutions architect like myself, who can help you to re-architect your infrastructure in a sustainable manner in the cloud. You can also work with our professional services, with our accredited partners or industry co-development team who can help you to build production-grade workloads to meet your business goals or specific sustainability goals. If you are curious about AWS services and you would like to take some courses both for business and technical personas, please visit skillbuilder.aws where you can find 600 hours free digital courses. Before I say thank you, and I know lots of people are now taking their phones, please use our AWS Events application and scan the QR code to rate our session because your feedback means a lot to us. If you have any questions, please use the information on the slide to reach out to us. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming and listening today. Thank you. Thank you.